Yo, what's up, everyone? Darth Synovia here, back once again with another stream. Now, I'm going to be doing things different with this stream this time compared to what I normally do. I'm going to have the first half of the stream be related to other stuff besides politics, like entertainment, and the second half of the stream is going to be, talking about the political landscape of America. Now, if you are only in for the politics, well, be patient. Um, because that's going to come. And because I'm not talking about politics at this particular time, I just switched my avatar to, Raphael, because why not? Hey, what's up, Louie? Now, there is another stream I have planned, though I originally was going to do that instead of this stream, but I realized the topics I want to talk about, I need to research them a lot more in depth. So I'm not going to, do an all-nighter watching and reading, articles about topics I want to talk about. So instead of, doing that, I've decided to reduce the amount of homework. At least I will still talk about one of the subjects I will talk about later in the stream. I'm going to be talking about in the next stream, but I'll be talking about it in more detail because there will be more information available. Now, for those of you who want to hear the entertainment part, I'm going to start in a little bit. I'm just waiting for my audience to, show up. How you been doing, everyone? It's been a interesting, few weeks. Things have been, especially in the entertainment world, and apparently, well, I haven't been paying too much attention to this because the anti-SJWs don't really interest me. I casually keep up with what they do, but apparently, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers, revealed himself to be a two-faced hypocrite and be against positive review bombing, but is okay with negative review bombing when it came to the movie, Eternals. Now, I don't give a fuck one way or another if Eternals gets a good or bad review because I don't fucking care. To be honest with you and frank, I was never interested in seeing the Eternals in the first place. In fact, I went to the movie theater for the first time in almost 2 years, and I already had my mindset what movie I wanted to see, and that was Dune. The newest Dune movie came out, and I didn't get a chance to see it at the time because I didn't have the money, and I had some money, and I went out with my brother, and we saw the Dune movie last night. And I'll give my thoughts about the movie. But yeah, it's funny how, anti-SJWs work. Everything is woke. Like, am I the only one that, thinks that woke is kind of a meaningless word at this point? Because what the fuck does woke even mean? Like, we all know why they're using the word woke. I mean, woke is pretty much derogatory at this point. Like, anybody that isn't isn't a cis white man, that's essentially what woke is for them. But they're not going to say that part out loud. But come on, those who actually know our crap and who actually pay attention to what these people have to say, we all know what they actually mean. I mean, who are they fooling here? Like, we're not bigoted, we're not racist, we just want stories. Okay, then why are you so fixated? If you weren't being political and this isn't a political movement, That's just one thing I don't get about anti-SJWs. And I think they're dumb. I'm really sure they are. I don't think any of them have any ounce of integrity, at least for the most part. Jeremy, I do think, knows what he's doing, but if they cannot really see that they are using political terms, it's pretty much political for a woman to be in a movie. It's political for a non-cis white man to be in a movie. It's fucking, you know, political to have a black man in a comic book. It's like all what isn't political to these people, but they won't. But in their logic, in the anti-SJW logic, anything they disagree with is political, and everything they agree with is not political. Oh, I definitely will do that, but again, I'm going to be talking about the political stuff in the second half of the stream. Yeah, it's like ridiculous. It's like, and let's be real here. All these people that are complaining about all these woke shit and comics never picked up a comic in their life. Never. They never picked up a comic in their life. And if they have, they missed, the stuff that was said between the lines. Yeah. It's like it's ridiculous. It's like it is obvious what this movement is. It's a white middle class movement that wants movies to go back to the way they were in the 1980s. They want only white men and cis white men to be the center of entertainment. And it's just a reactionary freaking movement by privileged people that want to feel superior to everybody else, and more and more people are getting on an equal footing as them. And of course, you do have people who are like young Rimpa who are pushing, white supremacist, talking points. And it would be intellectually dishonest if I said it's only white anti-SJWs that are pushing this, far right agenda that they're pushing in fandom. It's also, people of color, trans, they're people like Bear White and Andy Nogue, Yami Park. I mean, you have all these people pushing this stuff. It isn't just, people, who are white that are doing this. You have non-white people using, who they're basically just pawns, let's just be real, of the white supremacists to push their talking points. And if you look at what all these people have in common, and I know, let's be real, I know for those of you who've been watching me for years, you'll know that, my channel has gone political. Like, even when I'm talking about politics, entertainment, in my opinion, I think it's intellectually dishonest in general to, if you're going to talk about entertainment, if you just try to ignore or talk about politics as little as possible, because all of these groups, that we're seeing online, all these anti-SJW groups, and I know this from experience and from interacting with people in those communities, that there is a pipeline to fascism, and fascists have been infiltrating these circles for years, and they're using this as a recruiting ground. And for the most part, they've been successful, unfortunately. Like the Star Wars fandom, there's like always been a kind of a fascistic, element in the fandom. It's depressing to say this. Consider that Star Wars itself, even in the expanded universe, was heavily anti-fascist, always has been. And this have so many of these people like have the anti-fascist messages of Star Wars just fly over their heads, but fascists who don't really care about any of this stuff, they take advantage of that fact. Because why is it that so many of these people, why do they follow, when they follow Geeks and Gamers, like, guess what? Who does Geeks and Gamers listen to? He listens to Ben Shapiro. He listens to Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson. Hell, Evan V. Skyver drew illustrations for one of Jordan Peterson's books. So if you're going to tell me that none of this stuff is political, none of this stuff is connected, you haven't been paying attention. And I don't know how many times that I have to repeat myself, because it feels like I'm just preaching to the choir, because it's fucking true. You cannot separate entertainment from politics. And I feel like doing that is, you're limiting on what kind of conversations can take place. And people want to talk about, which I'm probably going to be, I'll be talking about this later, about how, politics has ruined Star Wars, when it isn't the case, honestly, when it comes to Star Wars. But again, it isn't just nostalgia that has ruined Star Wars. And yeah, I'm going to say that because I think it's objectively true that politics have not ruined Star Wars. Politics can't ruin something that's always, when politics has always been there. And I will get deeper into that, later. I mean, if you look at this as well, I had a conversation from, one of my friends yesterday, and he brought up some good points that are very valid. And since I'm wearing basically having a TMNT avatar, Raphael, my favorite turtle, I figured I'd get into something that I did not think about until, my friend, who's also a fan of Ninja Turtles, we were talking. Have you noticed how in the newer incarnations of the Ninja Turtles, after the 2003 series, and not, by the way, I'm going by the cartoons, not the comics, you don't really see the Turtles do anything to really help homeless people or poor people in general. Like, if they do, they minimalize it as little as possible. Like, because, the Turtles, let's be honest here, I'm speaking as a longtime fan of Ninja Turtles. I've been a fan pretty much my entire life. Like 31 years pretty much. I've been a fan of this franchise. And I'll just tell you, the Turtles, they're outcast. They really are. They're social outcasts. They're a permanent underclass. There's no way the Turtles in their own universe could realistically be able to not live in the shadows because of their looks, because they'd be considered freaks. They are a permanent underclass. And who are the permanent underclass of society? Indigenous people, people of color, trans people, people, gays and lesbians. And of course, if I'm going to be politically correct, which I'm just going to say LGBTQ plus, just so I don't offend someone on accident. That's what the Turtles are. They are part of that class. And when you look at the cartoons, like the older stuff, like the 2003 series, you had multiple episodes of the Turtles helping, people, that were homeless. Or in one episode, Raphael helped a blind elderly woman who was getting evicted because she couldn't pay her bills. And in any other incarnation, at least any other cartoon, the hero would not have given stolen money to help someone, but Raphael did. And you haven't seen the Turtles do that since. Now, if we're going by the comics, you've seen more examples of them helping, the vulnerable of society, or them taking on corporations, or actually painting, high ups of the American government as the bad guys. You don't see that in newer incarnations of the Turtles. I mean, for crying out loud, Bishop a villain of the 2003 series, he would the Earth Protection Force. What are the Earth Protection Force exactly in TMNT? They're essentially the CIA. They're like the TMNT's equivalent of the CIA, just like SHIELD is Marvel's equivalent of the CIA. But unlike Marvel, they're portrayed as the bad guys, not the good guys. Hidden curriculum, that's what is in our entertainment. And I'm just bringing up TMNT as an example because Star Wars, you guys heard me time and time again talk about political stuff in Star Wars. But people would probably scoff what I'm saying right now. It's like, wait, TMNT is political? Get out of there with that crap. There's nothing political about anamorphic turtles. There is. There is. If you think there isn't politics in Ninja Turtles, you haven't been paying attention. And the lack of homeless people being basically being visible and basically in our entertainment. And if they are in there, they're usually the butt of jokes or demonization. That's essentially what homeless people are essentially portrayed as in entertainment. The reason I bring this up is because the so-called nerds who claim to be such big fans of this stuff that I'm talking about never paid attention to any of the stuff that was said or some of the stuff that was shown in the comics. I mean, for crying out loud, I read a TMNT comic the other day of them talking about the South, African apartheid state. Yes, they actually talked about a South African apartheid state. This is in the old Archie comics. And yeah, you had the Ninja Turtles, fight against a corporation that pollutes the planet, that just doesn't give a shit because he's a capitalist. You have the Turtles take on fascists too, like Bishop, the Shredder in the 2003 series. I'm referring to Sherelle. You have the Turtles in one of the old comics. I'm referring to the originals. You had one issue of the Turtles fighting against, right-wing militias who were trying to start World War III. It's like, how the fuck is this stuff not political? And I'm not just saying this. I mean, they're in the comics themselves. I mean, if anyone's going to, basically say, oh, I'm full of it, you tell me that issue 12, the people aren't a freaking far-right militia. They're not essentially fascists. I mean, you even had freaking a guy called the Turtles and Splinter commie rats. I mean, seriously. It's just so fucking stupid. Sure, you may not get that in general, but no, Krang was nothing like a military general of the USSR. Krang's more like an American fascist or a Nazi. That's what Krang is, not the USSR. But I'm not getting into that this debate. And and in general, this is one thing that we have to pay attention to. When we may be fans of some of this stuff that I'm talking about, but there's hidden curriculum in everything. And if you have to read between the lines what's said and what isn't said, like Ninja Turtles is not the only franchise that's political. And there's stuff that's far more political and it gets in more detail. I mean, Marvel and DC. I mean, you're telling me that Batman comics aren't political? I mean, come on. You have a guy in a cape fighting crime. But what does it have to say about that crime? What solution does it offer? Batman is essentially a liberal who just wants to kick the can to the curb and not actually fix the problems. God, that is fucking funny. But Think about this. When you compare I used to love Batman as a character. When I, before I, looked awakened politically and saw the world for what it is, not what I want it to be, what it is. Batman, there you could just see Batman as the living embodiment of the freaking Democratic Party in a way. Think about it. The Democratic Party doesn't do anything to solve the problems that it creates, and things continue to get worse under the Democratic Party's leadership, but they still do nothing. Look at Batman. He could easily fix most of the problems of Gotham, but instead he just dresses up like some crazy freaking guy who's mentally ill himself, pretty much, and fucking beats mentally ill people. And actually, what does the comics have to say? That we should be aware of the mentally, we should be afraid of the, disabled, mentally disabled, or the people who, suffer from severe mental illnesses. Is that what we should suffer from? I mean, suffer from, isn't that the message of those comics? It's what they don't say is what is political in Batman. Of course, those are just various examples. That for those of you who, watch the Christopher Nolan films, there's nothing more, pro-fascist in any Batman story than the Nolan trilogy, considering just how much it promotes the surveillance data, how much it makes, the CIA, seem to be like a good thing, how it's a good thing for the government to spy on its citizens. Batman is a fascist in this version, and the very fact that in The Dark Knight Rises, the cops are the good guys rising up against the oppressor, Bane. It's like the way, they portray revolutionaries in these movies. They're portrayed as freaking crazy lunatics that just want nothing but destruction. Like from Ra's al Ghul, the Joker, Bane. They just want destruction. It's the caricature of communists and anarchists don't want anything but destruction. They want to destroy your way of life. That is what these, movies are essentially putting in our heads. They brainwash us with entertainment. That's what they've done. That's what they've always done. Why do you think, I don't know if I've said this before, but I'll say it here. You want to control society, you control the kind of art that they're allowed to see. You control the art. If you control art, you can control the population. Because most of people's morals are influenced by the kind of stuff that they read, watch, or whatever. Any kind of art that people experience is what's going to form their worldview. And you don't throw that notion. I know this is for my audience. They're not going to think this, but for those of you who watch this who are outside, it's like, oh, you're just talking about comic books or movies. It's just a movie, man. No, that kind of attitude is why fascism is allowed to be mainstream, because it's not being challenged. Any of these movies that are pushing overtly fascistic messages, they're not being challenged. Like, as much as I enjoy Avengers Endgame as a piece of entertainment and Infinity War, you don't see the Avengers really a challenging Thanos in any effective way, especially in Endgame. Like, it doesn't show how, Thanos objectively made things worse on Earth when he did the snap. That it's just not talked about, which is okay. Maybe you could argue that it doesn't matter because it's just a movie, but Thanos is supposed to be in the right. Well, right. Well, he's not, but let's just say he's supposed to be, framed as a villain with good intentions. Well, why not show the result of that good intentions? And I use these words in quotations. Showcase how Thanos caused more death and destruction by doing the snap. Show how billions of people died in the world because he essentially caused mass starvation, famine, because the people that had the skills to work the machinery, half of them died. They could, but it would not be profitable to showcase the consequences of Malthusian bullshit. Because the people that make these movies, Disney, they are Malthusians. They believe in this nonsense. They believe there's too many people. That's why you have, in some cases in Marvel, you have anti-fascist messages in films, and then you have some pro-fascist stuff. Like, it's like, don't get me started on Black Panther. It's like, holy fucking shit. Yes, a lot of them are Malthusians. That's not even an exaggeration. Like Black Panther, at least that's an example. I think Black Panther, I used to think that, Infinity War and Endgame were the most fascist movies. They're not even close. You can't get any more fascist than Black Panther. No, you can't get any more fascist than Black Panther. No, and now, why am I saying this? Now, for those of you who don't know, Black Panther, is a character from Marvel Comics who is the king of Wakanda. Now, what else is named Black Panther? Oh, wait. The original Black Panther Party. The party that pushed breakfast programs, the party that actually put fear in the U.S. government, that caused the U.S. government to do COINTELPRO. That Black Panther, I just view Black Panther as an insult to the Black Panther Party. I really do see that, at least the character in general. Because think about it, what the fuck is T'Challa anyway, other than a rich aristocrat? And just think about this. If you look at the movie, the framing of both T'Challa and Killmonger, look how T'Challa presents himself. He's well dressed, well behaved, and then you look at the opposite with Killmonger, who's aggressive, who dresses like a thug. I'm going by how they frame black people in Hollywood, and it's essentially saying, you want to be one of the good ones, be like him, not him. So it does another caricature of what black revolutionaries, want and desire. It's like we can't, have revolutionaries. You can't be too radical. You can't change the system unless you become part of the system. It's Black Panther is pro-assimilationist. It's essentially pushing genocide. The movie is. It is. It's not what it says and what it doesn't say. Because it's a bunch of white people pushing their ideal, what is ideal for people in general to look and dress. And why did so many people in the black community, why did they resonate with Killmonger? Now, I will never understand their struggles because I've never experienced them. So I'm just going by what I've observed. But why would Killmonger resonates with them? Because what Killmonger went through as a child, that they've gone through every single day. And what really angered me about my last viewing of Black Panther is the one scene where we see Killmonger's father and how he's making a passionate speech about, how everything is horrible outside of Wakanda, how, their leaders have been assassinated, drugs brought in their communities. It's like, this is all fucking true. How was Killmonger's father, what was wrong with him wanting to free his people? Yet the Marvel films phrased him as being radical as a bad thing. A bad thing. How? Because we have to beg they had to beg just to be treated as human beings? Is that fucking what the message of the movie is? On the surface, Black Panther seems to be inclusive, seems to be anti-racist, seems to, be pushing a progressive agenda, but it's not. It's reactionary as fuck. It's just a bunch of white people just telling, black people how they should act and how they should dress. That's what the fucking movie is. It's not trying to appeal to their humanity. And look how Killmonger is portrayed in Marvel What If. Fucking Marvel was scared shitless because how popular Killmonger was. Possibly more popular than T'Challa himself. So they went out of their way to portray Killmonger as, is this a bloodthirsty psychopath? And then you had freaking War Machine basically say you can't, you can only change the system from within. The same liberal garbage that you could only change things if you appeal to the fucking slave masters of fucking white supremacy. Why? And I don't care if Killmonger is like that in the comics. I don't fucking care if that's how he is in the comics. I'm going by hidden curriculum. How the character is written in the movies, because most people who watch the Marvel films have never picked up a comic in their life. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit. And it's and honestly, I still think it still stands. Considering, it's essentially freaking imperialism. It's like a Wakanda, the very concept is just how white people, think what Africa would be like if they adapted the European way. Okay, I know. I'm sorry if this is too political for you, for people who are just me talking about entertainment. I'm sorry, but I can't talk about entertainment without bringing this up, because hidden curriculum is everything when it comes to entertainment. Entertainment is the opium of the masses. It really is the opium of the masses. It really is. And how do you create people? How do you create fascists? How do you get a next generation of people to support fascism? Easy. Just put hidden messages and entertainment, and they won't know that what they're believing in is fascist. And if you confront them on it, they're going to get defensive, because it's like, I'm not a fascist. Like, well, if you believe that there's too many people on Earth. Now, to answer your question, Attack of the Menace, what is Malthusianism? Malthusianism is an ideology that believes that there's too many people, that the planet is too full, that there's too many people, and we need to depopulate the planet because there's too many people, there's not enough resources. That's Malthusianism. Now, if you want more detail on Malthusianism, I would suggest you read it yourself. But that's the gist of it. It's believing there's too many people. And the fact that Malthusianism has, basically been in a topic of a conversation, it's all thanks to movies like Infinity War. That's not an accident. Yeah, of course it does. Ironically, Wakanda doesn't do anything. The very concept of Wakanda doesn't do anything but just imagine what would happen if Africa was never colonized. Now, I'm not saying that never crossed people's minds, but let's assume for a second Africa was never colonized. It would be nothing like Wakanda from Black Panther. They would be fucking, looking like look at Wakanda. It doesn't look African at all. Come on. Wakanda, it's just a white person just coming up. It's like with, African, an African country, but adapting European characteristics. That's Wakanda. It isn't, most of what we see from fucking Wakanda is not African. Now, another reason why I think that Black Panther, the movie, is fascist propaganda. You want to know who endorsed it? You want to know who supports the existence of Black Panther? Who actually, supports it? The CIA. The CIA, a organization that has had a history of fascist terror, supporting fascist dictatorships, supporting the overthrow of democratic elected governments, creating acts of terrorism, sowing discord in third world countries. That is the CIA in a nutshell. They're essentially the 21st century's SS. Well, let's not even go 21st century. They just replaced the SS. Freaking George Bush's grandfather helped the rise of the Nazis. That should tell you everything you need to know. And his father, was one of the founding members of the CIA. I don't think we should support something like Black Panther. I mean, if it's supported by the CIA, and make no mistake, the CIA and the military industrial complex, they control Hollywood. There isn't a single thing that Hollywood does that doesn't, get approval from the CIA in one way or another. Why do you think the CIA are portrayed as the good guys in films, even though the fucking idea of a fascist terrorist organization is, good guys is fucking laughable? Yeah, I've heard about that. Oh, I gotta, see. Now, I know this is too political. What I've been talking about for the last, almost 40 minutes has been too political for those who prefer to listen to me talk about entertainment. But I'm beyond the point where I stick strictly to entertainment because, let's be honest here, everything that we are exposed to is political in one way or another. And I don't know who you are, and I think I'm going to put you on timeout. Because I think that person is a troll. I'm not going to freaking tolerate that crap. Anyway. I mean, look no further than Hollywood for how people can, look at Muslims as... Because, think about this. If you look at a lot of films that have been made for the past 40 years, and of course, if we want to go recent, the last, say, 20 years, why are most antagonists in movies, why are they Arab? Why are they Arab? That's the question. You want to know why Islamophobia, why it's been so easy to spread Islamophobia and I consider it anti-Semitic because they're Semites too. Why they're able to spread anti-Semitism and Islamophobia as easily as they have? Because when you have a industry that constantly dehumanizes the oppressed in the third world and constantly portrays them as bloodthirsty savages, you're gonna have the fucking people, support, fascism, genocide against these people. That's just how it's going to be. Now, to shift this focus to what I was going to talk about, a lot of these people who complain about politics ruining entertainment, don't seem to realize, or don't care to realize, it isn't politics that ruined Star Wars. It's nostalgia that ruined Star Wars. Now, what do I mean by nostalgia? Well, think about this. What has Star Wars been for the past, let's say, 7 years now? Or let's say since 2014. What has Star Wars been but nostalgia? Then again, Star Wars is not the only franchise that's going through this, but I'm using Star Wars because Star Wars is what I'm the most familiar with. The reason why I say nostalgia has ruined Star Wars in general is because the unwillingness to commit to anything new in the current direction. Like, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to be real. Mandalorian Season 2 wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And this shouldn't be a controversial take, but it wasn't good. Season 2 of Mandalorian. Why? Nostalgia. But what do you mean by nostalgia? When almost every episode of the series of that season was essentially essentially a backdoor pilot to another show, and not to mention the constant, nods to the original trilogy that we've been seeing for like over half a decade at this point. It started with Rebels, which almost every episode has to constantly remind you about the original trilogy, or music cues, or the very fact that that fucking season ended with nostalgia. I mean, did we really need to introduce Luke Skywalker in season 2 of Mandalorian? Do we really need to introduce Bo-Katan or Ahsoka? Like half the episodes almost was essentially nostalgia bait, and bringing the show, new shows that are complete, make the Mandalorian character completely irrelevant. Not to mention it's all the other stuff as well. Like the comics constantly have to, not even afraid to tell new stories. Not even like they constantly have to stick to the old characters. Like the only era of Star Wars that's really not doing nostalgia is the High Republic, and it's fucking hated. It's like the most hated freaking aspect of Star Wars right now currently is the one that has the least amount of nostalgia. The Star Wars sequels was nostalgia. Rogue One was nostalgia. Solo was nostalgia. Mandalorian Season 2, nostalgia. For 4 seasons of Rebels, nostalgia. Most of the Star Wars fucking novels, nostalgia. The fucking comics, nostalgia. The fact that they're not even trying to tell their own stories, and because every time something previously established appears, oh, guess what? We have to bring this character because our characters suck. I mean, it isn't politics that's ruined Star Wars. It's the fucking fans' unwillingness to actually accept change. Like, I would not be shocked if the High Republic gets cut short. Because the fans you have a bunch of moronic fucking people constantly spreading misinformation about it, constantly talking about a comic that they haven't read, despite the fact it's the only fucking Star Wars media at this point that's actually telling brand new stories of brand new characters and isn't relying on fucking previously established characters. That's fucking Star Wars in a nutshell at this point. It's nostalgia plus the fans' unwillingness to accept new things. And I don't want to hear, oh, the fans have always been open to new things. Really? Then why the hell is the everything that's new, why is it always hated the most? I mean, I hate The Last Jedi. It's awful. But at least it was something different. It was the least nostalgic of what we've been seeing from Star Wars, and at least on screen anyway. I mean, just look at the aesthetic too. It's like it's all nostalgia. They're afraid of actually making things look different because they're afraid of alienating freaking a vocal minority of fucking fans that fucking will complain no matter what anyway. Nostalgia is a fucking enemy that has ruined entertainment in general. That's why movies are gradually getting worse too, because of nostalgia. That's why we're gonna slowly see a freaking for the next few decades, assuming climate change doesn't kill us all, we're gonna see a bunch of fucking remakes of freaking movies because nothing else fucking sells because the consumer base just won't fucking accept anything new. Yeah, The Last Jedi sucks. I'm not going to defend it. It's awful. And another thing about Disney Star Wars too, which something that people don't even talk about, is the racism in Disney Star Wars and the hypocrisy. Okay, you know, you're going to talk about how, oh my God, you know, everything is so woke now in Star Wars. Yeah, how is everything woke when? And I'm going by on screen. Why are all the on screen characters? Why are all the main characters? Why are they all white? Why are they all white? Don't believe me? Okay. I'm just gonna name a few. Force Awakens, Rey, white. Last Jedi, Rey, Kylo Ren, white. Rise of Skywalker, Rey, Kylo Ren, white. Rogue One, Jan Erso, white. Han Solo and Solo, obviously white. Where the Dan, possibly the only non-white, actor that non-white character, non-white actor on screen, but he barely shows his face, and he's not, and his character's sign line in his own show. Yeah, pretty much in general, Star Wars as a whole, most of the characters are overwhelmingly white. If you're going to be all inclusive, why isn't Finn? Why wasn't Finn on as equal? Why wasn't he equally as the main character of the sequels as Rey? Why Kylo Ren? Why? Oh wait, because they're afraid of freaking having alienating their fucking mostly middle class white audience, because it's white fucking people that they're still catering to at the end of the day, not people of color, not other ethnic groups. It's always straight white people. So no, there's nothing woke about Star Wars currently. It ain't wokeness that's ruining Star Wars. It ain't fucking politics. It's all nostalgia. Of course, it's not just nostalgia, of course. And it's also, it's a corporate movie made for to be a product and not a fucking movie. To me, it doesn't matter if Finn was going to be gay or not. It doesn't matter. The fact is that they didn't even actually make Finn into a competent character in the first place. It's like Why is it that the most incompetent character and the most obnoxious? Why is it Finn? Oh yeah, because we can't go one movie, Disney being the racist company that was founded by a Nazi. We can't have one movie where we can't have the stereotypical, black guy act like an idiot. It's fucking racist. What they did to Finn was racist. Yet, ironically, the anti-SJWs and the SJWs don't fucking care about that. They don't care about the racist caricatures of characters. They don't care about that. They just don't like, seeing them a lot, as freaking main stars. Or it's like, it's so dumb. It doesn't matter if these movies are bad. It's like, the sequel trilogy are bad films, and it has nothing to do with wokeness. It would have been bad regardless. There's bad movies that fucking don't do woke shit, and they're still bad. Yet you don't see those movies labeled as bad by these anti-SJWs because nobody's gonna fucking say that Troll 2, like some movies shit like that's is fucking not shit. Or the Transformers films. No one's going to and of course, I'm pretty sure there's people that will, in the anti-SJW camp, that probably love Transformers, knowing how shit taste they have in movies. Anyway, I'm just going to end it with this. Star Wars, it's not nostalgia. Sorry, not nostalgia. It's not woke. It's not SJWs that ruin Star Wars. It's the ungrateful fucking fans and nostalgia. And not to mention pandering to a vocal minority of fans that, that are not going to be happy regardless. I mean, Star Wars was a powerhouse. And in a few years, it's lost all cultural relevance. It's like Mandalorian. Remember that? Remember how people like treated Mandalorian like it's the second coming of fucking Christ? You couldn't stop hearing people talk about how great this show was. Yet nobody's talking about how great that show is anymore. It's just another fucking product. Because when you strip Mandalorian down, and I don't care if I offend people on this, I'm just going to be real. Take away that plot device that is Grogu, and what do you have? It's like from the very start, I don't even think these people even had a direction for the show. And it's no coincidence that, like, they introduced Boba Fett, and as soon as Boba Fett was introduced, it's like, yeah, nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares because Boba Fett is on screen, and you got the actor who played Jango in Attack of the Clones. It's like unknown character with Mandalorian armor versus Boba Fett. I'll go for Boba Fett. Even though I'm not even the original, even though I'm not a fan of the character, he's just more intriguing because there's a lot more we have on Boba Fett. What canon and legends in terms of his story. There's more we fucking have. Dan, what the hell do we know about the character? Nothing. It's like I could care less if the character lives or dies. I mean, holy crap. And don't get me started on fucking, Grogu, Baby Yoda. Where the hell you want to call that fucking thing? Fucking, that thing should have been removed from the show, like, sooner instead of waiting until, like, the end of the season where fucking the only thing people cared about was Luke Skywalker. Like, Star Wars in the 2010s was just a black hole when it comes to like content. Like, do any of us really remember Star Wars in the 2010s. I mean, seriously, do any of us remember anything from the 2010s with Star Wars? I certainly don't. I mean, yeah, The Last Jedi may be memorable, but not for a good reason. It's like, it's amazing just how quickly those films lost relevance, as soon as the decade ended. Even freaking Mandalorian is just not enough to carry the franchises over. And I might as well talk about freaking the delay with Rogue Squadron. It's like, who fucking cares? I mean, I know I sound overwhelmingly negative, Darcenovia. Why do you have to be so negative? Because who cares? It's like Lucas. It's like Lucasfilm is like Square Enix. They're more interested in announcing new projects and freaking not really releasing anything. It's like, how long ago was the Cassian Andor show announced? And it's finally coming out next year. It's like, who Cassian Andor? Why should I care about this character? Why? Yeah, why should I care about Cassian Andor? I don't. Then you have the Obi-Wan show. It's like, oh, this is cool. Rumors that we've heard about for years. Then it finally happens, and then we learn, oh, it's coming out next year. It's like everything is either delayed or it's canceled or it's silent or it's like whatever. I would not be shocked if Acolyte gets delayed, knowing how things are going with Star Wars. I haven't seen Visions. Next time that will be its own stream. I'll talk about Visions as its own stream because I don't want to trash Visions, especially since I haven't seen it. I might as well just I'm done with the Star Wars section. I think the fact that the anti-SJWs are just scraping for stories, like complaining about a dislike button. It's like, seriously? Who cares? Who cares? Honestly. Let people do what they want. I'm sorry, but don't you support the consumer? I don't know, Ryan Cannell, do you support the consumer? Do you support the user the right to be able to do what they want? If they don't fucking want their dislikes, the show, then that's their business. You want to keep the dislikes? Go ahead. I'm going to keep the dislike. I don't care. To me, it benefits either way. That's just one thing these idiots don't understand, and they probably won't because they're fucking dumb. It doesn't matter if you dislike a video or like a video. It's the same thing regardless. You're going to get the same result regardless. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you dislike a video or you like a video, it's the same result. It's not going to change anything. The only thing it's going to change is, oh my God, people don't like my videos. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Your video is still going to show up on the algorithm if it's massively disliked. It doesn't matter. That's engagement. Engagement. Do you not know what that is? Do you not know what that is, you dumb, puny brain anti-SJW? Do you not know what fucking engagement is? No, of course not. Because you people wouldn't understand fucking anything because, you are overly emotional fucking psychotic man-children that can't actually fucking grasp that bad publicity is good. It's like you guys wouldn't be where you are if you didn't have bad publicity. You wouldn't be. Getting disliked on your videos doesn't do anything. It helps expose your video more. There's more engagement. And if people want to simply disable it, fine. But again, I think the feature is pointless if you ask me. Why? If you don't want people to dislike your video, you could disable the likes and dislikes. I just don't understand why anybody would make a big deal out of this. Of all the changes of YouTube, the anti-SJWs are going to complain about this small fucking change. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. A small change that doesn't affect anyone either way. It's just because an excuse for these people, these psychotic bullies, to, paint themselves out to be the victims. Oh, this is censorship. Yeah, well, you support censorship when it suits you. So you're no angel. You have no room to talk. You lying hypocrites. You're no angel. That's just what these people are. They're not angels. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna have to say regarding that, because I don't have anything else to say. I mean, the anti-SJWs, they're cringe. They always have been. I have nothing more to say regarding I have nothing more to say regarding, entertainment. I think I'm going to move on to the political part of my stream. So for those of you, and I'm referring to 100% political, for those of you who prefer my politics, I suggest you leave now, because I'm actually going to move on to the political half of the stream. So for those of you who opt out at this point, farewell, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Now that I'm in the political half of the stream, I'm just changing the avatar to, KGB, Banjo, and Kazooie. And I'm going to be talking about a serious topic, and I will get into further detail about this, because I'm just going to be real here regarding the current situation in the United States regarding fascist violence. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because for those of you who've been living under a rock, last year Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 people, and he's a hero to the far right. He has a lot of fucking supporters on the far right. And who is Kyle Rittenhouse? He's a kid that crossed the borders to fucking, carried a military grade weapon in order to support anti-protesters, and freaking got support from fucking fascist militias. And you're going to hear the stereotypical thing from the right. Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. Yeah, well, if you're defending yourself, why the fuck do you need a military grade weapon? Why do you need that? To a bunch of unarmed protesters. A thug who carries a fucking military grade weapon is not defending himself. You don't get a fucking AK-47 or AR-14, where the hell kind of weapon, I don't care what it was, cross state lines, unless he was intending to shoot somebody. And it's just laughable how anyone could say that Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. Against what? A bunch of unarmed protesters? And what's sickening, and I researched this before, I was going to talk about this today. Every signal news source I've watched and articles I've read that are supposedly neutral are on the side of freaking Rittenhouse. It's like, this should have been an easy, trial for the prosecution, and they fucked it up. And in fact, I don't even. This whole thing is a freaking sham. It's a fucking sham. It really is. It's a travesty of justice. It's a sham, and it's not going to shock me if he gets away with it. And it's not about if he will, because this is America. America is a white supremacist, fascist, colonial state that will always excuse, murdering psychopaths like Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, the fact that the way the kid was crying, like, it was so fucking fake. I don't know how anyone could legitimately buy that. Oh, he has PTSD. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, the guy, the kid that had a shirt said "free as fuck," or a few days before, fucking beat up a fucking girl. It's like, this guy's a fucking psychotic bully, or fucking hang out with the Proud Boys. PTSD. Give me a goddamn break. Give me a goddamn break. Seriously, give me a goddamn break. It's like the incompetence of the fucking prosecution. It's like, I could swear, like, it's on purpose. I just feel like this entire trial is a show trial. It's not even a trial. Like, the entire fucking court is biased towards Rittenhouse. He's gonna get away with it. He's going to fucking be a fucking hero to the far right, and you're gonna see escalation of far right violence. That's what's gonna happen. This fucking kid is a symbol of fascism. Like, we're seeing fascists rising in America, and we're just gonna see more people like Rittenhouse. And if Kyle Rittenhouse killed once, he's gonna do it again. There's no way he won't. The kid's a fucking psychopath. I know a psychopath when I see one. He has the demeanor of one. There's no way that the fucking kid, was freaking not faking when he was crying. He shows no remorse for killing those people. And for all you right wingers that are going to inevitably swarm this comment section, and you so-called leftists who support Rittenhouse, fuck you, you're fascist scum. Fuck off and get the fuck out of my face. If Kyle Rittenhouse was really defending himself, really defending himself, why did a mob chase after him after he shoots someone? Why? And let's be real, I don't fucking care if the guy, went after Rittenhouse. He had a fucking military grade weapon. I'm sorry, but if you're in a counter protest, what are you gonna do? When you have someone who has a fucking military grade weapon, are you going to freaking not defend yourself, or are you gonna try not to disarm him? Of course, for me, I don't think you should. The guy should have approached Kyle Rittenhouse if he didn't have a weapon of his own. If he didn't have a gun to defend himself. If anything, that was the mistake of the person that was killed by Rittenhouse. He should have not approached him if he didn't have a gun. Like, you don't fucking approach an enemy with a knife if you don't have a gun to defend yourself. And Kyle Rittenhouse shot the guy who had a gun. Okay, well, let's be real. A assault rifle is far more deadly, and you're more likely to be killed by an assault rifle than you are a handgun. A handgun is nowhere near as dangerous as an assault rifle. Can you kill people with a handgun? Yes, but an assault rifle, you don't need to be an experienced marksman to kill a bunch of people with it. And not to mention, why isn't his mother on trial? She is an accomplice as well. What she did was essentially bring a minor. Like, she's supposed to be responsible for this man, and she didn't do anything. She wasn't brought on trial. This goes to show just how biased the justice system is towards white men in general. Had this been a black man that did the same crime as Kyle Rittenhouse, you know what? The media would be all over this. In fact, he would have been shot dead. anyone that says we don't live in a fascist country, okay, let me answer this question. Let me ask you this question. Why is it when a leftist killed a Trump supporter, why is it that when the police killed him, nobody said anything? They didn't arrest him, they killed him. Yet Kyle Rittenhouse kills a few anti-fascist protesters, and he's suddenly a hero, a darling, an angel to the right-wing media. And the very fucking dishonest thing I've heard, like it's so ridiculous. Oh, they're making this political. How is trying someone like Kyle Rittenhouse not a political issue? It is. He showed up for that protest to shoot someone, to shoot protesters that were protesting police brutality. Kyle Rittenhouse is an example why the left need to be armed when we go out to protest. We shouldn't show up with no guns. I know this is risky, me talking about this. I don't care. We shouldn't show up without guns. We shouldn't. Because people like that are going to shoot you. Showing up to a protest that's going to have Proud Boys and you're not going to show up armed yourself, that's foolishness. This is going to embolden the right when he gets away with it. It's only going to embolden them. It's going to make them stronger. It's going to inspire them. You're going to get somebody else do the same thing at Rittenhouse, did, and it's only going to get worse. And the scary thing is we're seeing it happen. I wish this was a joke. I wish this was a joke. I really wish this was a joke. I really wish it was. But it's not a joke. It isn't a joke. And that's what's fucking scary. This is not a joke. Because the fascist violence is only going to get worse. The police brutality is only going to get worse. And the so-called leftists support this fucking shit. Yes, so-called leftists that support Rittenhouse. You're not a fucking leftist. You're a fascist. And you know what? The right wing always talk about, the Second Amendment. How much they defend the Second Amendment. Okay. Why don't we use our Second Amendment rights? Sure, the Constitution is meaningless. And it's just a worthless piece of paper. But if they're going to show up with fucking guns, why shouldn't we? Yeah, you're right. You're right. And when there's going to be a huge strike in the United States, you're going to see a general strike, and you're going to see Kyle Rittenhouse show up to something like that, someone like that. And nobody's going to say anything. The mainstream media is going to, they may pretend to talk about, how horrible this guy was for murdering these people when they're secretly on his side. And I hate Noam Chomsky because I think he's a sellout. But he isn't wrong about manufacturing consent. He's not wrong. He wasn't wrong on that, nor was he wrong about, what the media, has been doing. We're seeing naked fascism. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't think this is being said enough. There is a fascism is everywhere. It's rising every aspect of society. You cannot escape it. Entertainment is more open about promoting fascist ideas. The mainstream media is more open about promoting fascist ideas. The internet that barely has, it's barely free at all, is supporting it. Fascism is everywhere. Hell, the fucking workplace, fascism is there too. There isn't a single place where fascism isn't. And those who aren't taking this seriously need to fucking wake up before you wake up in a prison cell. That you can't escape this. That Kyle Rittenhouse, if he gets away with this, which I am likely thinking he will, you're going to see the rise of fascist violence like you've never seen before. Because Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero to these people. And making memes and making jokes about Kyle Rittenhouse, what the hell is wrong with you? This isn't a joke. This is not a joke. It isn't a joke. It really isn't a joke. What we're seeing with the thing, people like Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah, there needs to be about a protest against that, because what this kid represents, I'm not even going to call him a kid, because calling him a kid would imply he's innocent. He knows what he did. If he does get let off, it's going to trigger a fucking mass protest. Because if someone like that can get away with murdering people when it was obvious in the footage that he wasn't defending himself, that's only going to enable other bloodthirsty, psychotic psychopaths to freaking do what he did. It's like, this is the danger that this represents, this verdict. And I've been having issues with RT for years now, but the fact that they are essentially on Rittenhouse's side and framing him as the victim too, it's like, what the fuck? Every signal news source that I've encountered is on Rittenhouse's side. It isn't just like the mainstream. Even so-called non-mainstream sources are on Rittenhouse's side. And fucking, yeah, it has. It's like, it wasn't like that until like a few years ago, but yeah, we're not wrong. And it's really scary. There won't be a single place that will be safe for us, for the left, if Kyle Rittenhouse gets left off. It gets let go. This will be worse than George Zimmerman. And where is the so-called left? What? And I'm referring to, like, why aren't they talking about this? Why aren't they talking about the dangers of naked fascism? Why? Where's Jimmy Dore on this? Where's the so-called Marxists, the supposed American patriots? Where are they on this? No, nothing. Silence. They're probably on Rittenhouse's side. It's like, yeah, you guys are so revolutionary. You're like, oh my God, we're the real leftists. Oh, everyone that doesn't agree with our agenda are the fascists. Despite the fact we actually push the fucking agenda of the fucking Proud Boys. It's sickening. It's sickening. It makes me sick. It really does make me sick that so little fucking people on the so-called left are speaking about this. So many people. I recalled last year, and I'm bringing this up because and I'm ashamed to even say this. I did a stream with B-Level on Kyle Rittenhouse right when it happened. Of course, you can't find it now because everything that I was in was deleted. So there's no evidence that channel existed. I mean, not channel, that video exists because it's gone. There is none. I talked about this, and everything I said in that, stream, I stand by now. But it's unfortunate those who are watching this can't actually see that stream because it's gone. The only leftists, that are really talking about this are people like myself. People like Socialism for All. Jason Unruh. Like, people like that are the only ones talking about it. There's people that are more qualified that can do this better than me. I'm just a dude with a microphone, with a shitty computer, doing this stream, who not too long ago, before talking about this, I talked about entertainment. I am nothing special. Anybody can do this. Every one of you who are watching this can do what I do. And you probably can do it better. The far right have a fucking monopoly on this. They shouldn't have a monopoly, but they do. There's only so much people like me can do. There's only so much. There's only so much. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy with a computer and a shitty microphone. That's all I am. And we can no longer depend on these people anymore. These issues, with like the far right violence with Rittenhouse, we have to depend on ourselves. We have to talk about it. We have to spread this message in any way we can, whether it's a shitty microphone, a phone, whatever you have at your disposal. This needs to be discussed more. It can't just be a few individuals. Jimmy Dore has failed us. He really has. People like that. And it was a failure also on me as well to think that Jimmy Dore would care. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's just more interested in talking about baseless conspiracy theories, spreading misinformation about the COVID vaccine. And that's the kind of crap that we have to deal with. Not only are we dealing with fucking anti-vax conspiracy theories, we're dealing with Kyle Rittenhouse supporters, the so-called American patriots. We have fascism on all fronts. And I'm just going to say this. Anti-vax is a fascist movement. It does nothing but hurt the working class. Yes, he can. The algorithm is against us. There's no denying that communists have a lot of work cut out for us. That we have a lot of work that we have to do. And we can no longer depend on, Jason Unruh, he's only one guy. He's human, and we can't rely on him to talk about this because he's a human being. We shouldn't depend on Jason because socialism for all is also humans. I'm human. But we have to do it ourselves. Every one of you who are watching this, if you want to voice your outrage or voice your takes, don't wait for people like me to talk about it. Don't do that. You do it. I encourage you. Even if it's one video, you're doing more work than any of these so-called Marxists like Caleb Maupin, Peter Coffin, and Jackson Hakel. Any one of you just posting one video talking about this. You don't have to be the most informed about it either. Just give your thoughts about what's going on. It spreads the message. So it isn't just the right that's talking about this. There's so much misinformation being spread about this trial. And it's getting to the point where it is impossible to find anything about Kyle Rittenhouse that isn't supporting the little fucker, that isn't actually making him out to be the victim. It's up to us. It's up to us. We have to make this happen. It's our fucking job. We can't expect a few individuals to do the heavy lifting. That's not how movements are built. That's not how an anti-fascist coalition is made. The people, we have to do it. Now, what I'm saying, it sounds like I'm speaking, in cliches and just repeating myself, but I'm just speaking my mind. Ben Shapiro is talking about this, the anti-SJWs that I talked about earlier, they're talking about this. People like the Rageaholic will talk about this. Every single one of these people are going to be talking about this. And if it's just the right that's talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, guess what? The dominant narrative is going to be that Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, that Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong, because that's the dominant narrative. You can't go anywhere on the internet without being sworn by people that defend this kid, because that's just how things are. Like, yeah, people right now who are like, oh yeah, let's support Julian Assange. Okay, why not support fucking, putting Kyle Rittenhouse in prison? Why not that? An actual fucking criminal, a thug. Why just Julian Assange? Do you think Rittenhouse would fucking support Julian Assange? No, he wouldn't. Oh, people like Rittenhouse would fucking support that, him being in prison. That's what fucking he would do. That's what he would do. Because Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking fascist. He's a thug. He's gonna fucking be a fucking thug, a thug of the fucking fascists. That's who he is. That's what he's going to be. Julian Assange isn't the only issue we should be discussing. And that's the thing that I really fucking hate about, the so-called left too. It seems like they treat Julian Assange as the only narrative worth caring about. It's like they don't care about Julian Assange because they think it's wrong to put him in prison. They're after their own fucking skins. Like any other fucking liberal. They don't care about anybody but themselves. Because they're afraid what happened to Julian Assange will happen to them. No, I don't care if Julian Assange, if he's a communist or not. extraditing him to America is a dangerous president that will fucking, endanger future whistleblowers. But Kyle Rittenhouse sends a dangerous president. If he gets away with the killings, it's going to increase violence against protesters even more. It's going to embolden fascists all over the country. In fact, I'd argue all over the world that it's okay to shoot protesters. The protesters are already demonized. I mean, in the goddamn trial, they weren't allowed to even label the people that were murdered as victims, but rioters and looters. This goes to show you which side this country is on. They're on the side of the fucking people that defending the interests of the bourgeoisie. Of course they did. In Florida especially. Yeah, those fucking tears are so fake that it's fucking it's like it's a travesty that people actually buy that shit. I mean, I'll show it right now. I mean, might as well. I mean, my blood's fucking boiling just thinking about that fucking Kyle Rittenhouse. It really is. It's not the kid himself. It's just what he represents. A fucking fascist. Is that will freaking just double down on everything that he's done. Now I'm just gonna look it up and we'll just I'll just fucking show it, because the fact that any fool would think, oh, how dare you mock this kid for crying? It was fucking fake. Like, it was fucking fake. It really was. It's so fake. Like, come on. I'm just gonna show it. Because it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, and fuck you, ads.
Duramax.
Okay, I'm just gonna show, like you could tell in someone's demeanor that they're not fucking sorry, and it's just an act. Like, I'm just gonna show this. All right, and I know I'm probably gonna get disliked when I do, when I edit this as a separate segment, but I don't care. I'm just gonna show this and tell me that this isn't fake.
I step towards the Duramax, and as I'm stepping forward, I believe his name is now Joshua Zeminski. He steps towards me with a pistol in his hand, and as I'm walking towards to put out the fire, I drop the fire extinguisher and I take a step back.
Okay. When you step.
Oh my god, this is how can anyone buy this crap? The way he's talking, the tone of his voice. Does this sound like someone that was scared for his life when he's describing? This is fake.
Back from Mr. Zeminski, what's your plan?
My plan is to get out of that situation and go back north down Sheridan Road to where the car source lot number 2 was.
And back, did you get were you able to go northerly direction?
I wasn't.
Describe what happened.
Once I take that step back, I look over my shoulder, and Mr. Rosenbaum was now running from my right side. And I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Zeminski.
This sounds so fake. I mean, good Lord. How does anyone buy what this lying psychopath is saying? Like, the way he's talking, it doesn't even sound like this is legitimate fear of something, of it's something that is supposed to be a traumatic experience. If this was, why is the tone of his voice, why does it sound like this doesn't really bother him that much? Why does this sound so fake? I mean, come on. Only an idiot would buy this crap.
And there were three people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what I That's right, run.
Thanks for our break. Anyway, you can just relax for a minute, sir. We're going to take a break about 10 minutes, and please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, and listen to any comments.
Oh my god. Did you guys see that crap? How could anyone be this gullible? This was so fake. This was so fake. That acting, the way he was crying, that didn't sound like fucking. Those tears did not sound legitimate. Did you guys see his demeanor? This is the worst acting I've seen. This really is. If you're gonna even try to like make yourself out to be scared, like you could at least make it more believable. It's like fuck. That is so fake. It is so fucking. And the fact that anybody like, oh my god, he was so brave talking about his traumatic experiences. Yeah, so traumatic. Tell that to the victims' families. Tell that to them, or tell that to the fucking to the people that fucking constantly suffer police brutality. Give me a break, suffering PTSD. What the little fuck probably wouldn't know what it's like to fucking to have severe trauma. Oh what? Like oh what? Yeah, I'm fucking crying. Oh yeah, I have a gun. I'm going to cry, even though I could clearly kill the guy if I wanted to. It's like come on, give me a break. Fucking, I mean, there's footage of this kid fucking, freaking punching freaking women. No joke. I mean, no joke. This is the kind of fucking people that the fucking right fucking worship. Like he's some sort of fucking angel. Shit, sorry guys. I'm typing it because I'm gonna freaking. Okay. Sorry, people. In the post production, I'll edit this portion out. Okay. 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 And people's like, oh, how is this relevant to the trial? Well, it's relevant to the kind of mentality this kid has. It's because why not? Considering the fact that, they have no issues with, women getting abused because fucking, especially right-wing women who are just, let's be real, there's nothing more than masochistic women that just don't care about you know, their own gender, who just sells their own gender out. It's like, come, yeah. All right, I'm just. It's like, I mean, come on. When he got out of jail, he even has a T-shirt called "Free as Fuck." Is there a fucking footage where it's not commentary? Yeah, that is true. He considering that there's this kind of. No, I just want the raw footage. God damn it! I don't want some. I'm gonna find this, like, post production. Yeah, post production. Like, damn it! Of course, I can't find it. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Please. Okay, sorry guys. For those, I'll edit this post production when I edit this this part as a separate stream. But I feel like this needs to be fucking watched. And I just want to watch the raw footage and not some fucking commentary on it, because I just want to see the actual footage. I freaking just don't want to see. It doesn't matter who's comment. I don't care who's doing it. I guess I'm just going to have to, watch it. I'll just have to cut to the point. These guys are probably on his side, so it's probably best that I don't. God damn it, my internet is slow. I'm so sorry, people. My internet is really slow right now, so sorry if this is taking so long, but I gotta show this footage. Then again, I might be able to find it on somewhere else. All right. Okay, I think. Hopefully, there's no commentary. I'll have to.
He said, "Say it again." Oh. The police, yeah, punch that bitch. She was on police.
All right. Okay, I can watch the footage, but I'm not gonna. Okay, sorry.
That it's him. Watch these. This kid is a piece of junk.
All right. What I'm about to show you is actual footage. This isn't made up, regardless what the right wing want to believe. Well, just don't be fooled that they actually care about, women in general. So, hold on. I actually do not want. I do not want this to repeat. Sorry, I just do not want. The share audio, because I'm not wearing headphones actually. So, okay. All right. You ready to be pissed off? Well, here it is. This is the right wing's hero.
You gonna be the biz though? You gonna be the biz? He said, say it again. Black. We going to jail. Oh, they gonna come take us first. Punch that bitch. Oh, me, she already smacked us. And she's gonna call the police. Yeah, punch that bitch. She'll call the police. Ooh, move, Kyle, move. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Oh, no. He punching the bitch. He punching the bitch. Take us first. Punch that bitch. Oh, me, she already smacked him. And she's gonna call the police. Yeah, punch that bitch. She'll call the police. Ooh, move, Kyle, move. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Oh, no. He punching the bitch. He punching the bitch. Oh, they gonna come take us first. No Captain Save punch that bitch. Oh, me, she already smacked him. And she's gonna call the police. Yeah, punch that bitch. She'll call the police. Ooh, move, Kyle, move. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? No.
All right, guys.
All right. Yes, this is their hero. This is a hero. This is their hero, folks. A little fucking coward that picks on fucking people that fucking can't defend themselves. And as someone, that respects women, watching that footage disgusts me and angers me. Just how anybody who with any sense of honesty can actually defend this kid. Or what is it called? I'm not even going to call him a kid. Because in my opinion, to call him a kid is to essentially, say, oh, he's not guilty of his actions. Kyle Rittenhouse is a piece of shit. He really is. And those who actually defend him are even worse than he is. You see all this evidence. You see, what this kid's record. Freaking picking a fight with a girl. What the hell is wrong with you? Seriously, what the hell is wrong with you? And he clearly instigated that fight. You could see that, in that footage. And just look at the kid's demeanor, too. He obviously was looking for a fight. He was looking for it then, and he was looking for it when he fucking went across state borders with a military fucking weapon. It's like, this is fascism, folks. This is the kind of people that the fascists are going to rally around if he gets away with it. Then again, by some miracle, which I don't count on the justice system doing the right thing or the fucking jury to do the right thing, if by some unlikelihood that he goes to prison, it probably will be for nothing. At most he'll serve a few years if he goes to jail at all, if he goes to prison, whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, this trial is rigged in this kid's favor. It doesn't matter if he's acquitted or not. He's going to get away with it either way. He's going to get a light sentence. It doesn't matter. He's a hero. The judge is clearly on his side. It's like, I've never seen in my lifetime such a travesty of justice. This is like the George Zimmerman trial. And in right-wing fashion, they have to, demonize the victims, look up something about their victims or about their past, or just simply lie about and look for anything to dehumanize the victims just to justify the murders. And the logic with people, it's like he crossed state borders with a fucking assault weapon. You don't do that unless you intend to shoot someone. And even let's just say there is some truth. He put himself in that situation to begin with. He doesn't even live in the same state that he went to defend these people's property from looters. It goes to show you whose side they're on. They're on his side. Of course they're going to defend their foot soldier, their thug that defends the interests of the bourgeoisie. That kid didn't seem to fucking be suffering severe distress. He didn't seem to be that when in the trial. Not once did it seem like he seemed to be under stress. It seems like the kid knows he's going to get away with it. He knows it. It's like the media's freaking, they know it too. Anybody who has been paying attention to this knows he's going to get off. And in total right-wing fashion, you're going to see the right make a bunch of memes about the left having a meltdown because, oh my God, Kyle, won. It's like, that's all they care about. That's all they care about. These people don't care about justice. It's all about owning the libs. I've talked about this for like almost an hour. And I was originally going to do this for like 20 minutes. What this person represents is a danger to working class people everywhere. Working class people in the upcoming years and months and years, they're going to rise up against this fascist state with the deteriorating conditions, the wages. This kid is represents the thugs that support the fucking bourgeoisie, the fucking fascists. He represents that class. He represents the middle class, the middle fucking class that hate working people, hate people of color, hate people fighting for their rights. These are the kind of people that Kyle Rittenhouse represents. Those are the kind of people he represents. He doesn't represent anything but that. Anybody that supports Kyle Rittenhouse, you are anti-worker. You're not for the working class. You are not for the people. You are against them. Rittenhouse is a psychotic child that went across state lines to shoot people that, God forbid, were protesting the brutal murders of black people. I'm sorry. And if anyone's going to say, oh, I should show some compassion, oh, fuck off. Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't deserve anything less than to rot in a prison cell for the rest of his life. He's a worthless thug. That's all he is. That's all he ever will be. A thug. I don't care about the lives of fascists. Fascists aren't human to me. Fascists want to kill you just as much as they want to kill me. And if you don't fucking oppose fascism on the principle of it's evil, then you're not a true communist. For the so-called communists that support Rittenhouse. And I don't fucking care what the law says. I'm just going to be real with you. I don't care what the law says. I don't care if what Kyle Rittenhouse would say, but some fucking, let's just play devil's advocate for a second. What he did was legal. I don't care if it was legal. What he did was to support a movement that's a reaction to working class people rising up against against the brutality of the fucking police, the thugs of this fascist state. That's who Kyle Rittenhouse is. He's not a fucking working class kid. He doesn't represent the working class. He's not for the working class. He's for the petty bourgeoisie, the big bourgeoisie. And these people need to be opposed at all costs. I don't care who you are. If you're not on the side of the working class, you're my enemy, and you're the enemy of the fucking people. This kid and people like him are going to show up in upcoming protests regarding mass evictions, regarding wages. People like him are going to show up. Are you for the workers or are you for the fucking capitalist? What side are you on? There is no middle ground at this point. And there's no, oh, this is against the law. That's against the law. Fuck the law. I care about doing what's right. You want to know what the law was? Turning over your Jewish neighbors in Nazi Germany. Turning over your neighbors because they may be suspected communists. You want to know what else was legal? Discriminating against people based on the color of their skin. In fact, they still do that. You want to know what else? It was part of the law? Eugenics. What else is part of the law? Having access to certain, facilities based on you being a citizen. You want to know what's the law? Limiting the amount of income a disabled worker can have in a society where the cost of living is going up and up and up and up. You want to know how much a working class disabled person like myself is allowed to make each year? Nothing. You want how much I can save in my bank account? Nothing. $2,000. And yet the cost of living is getting to the point where $2,000 is not enough to save up. You have fucking enforced poverty. Working class people are suffering in this country. And it's only going to get worse. That's why I hate Kyle Rittenhouse for everything he represents. Because he represents the anti-worker. He is not for the working class. His ideology that he upholds is not for the working class. He opposes the working class. He's a thug. He's no hero. He's a bully, a thug, a murderer. And he'll do it again. Only this time, he will have far more support behind him. You think someone that hangs out with the Proud Boys? You think someone that wears a shirt, I'm free as fuck? You think people like that are your friend? You think people like that are the working class? They're not. They're not working class. They're anti-worker. As a working class person, I oppose everything that Kyle Rittenhouse is and what he represents and what he will enable in the future, what he will empower in the future. He's going to get away with it. And by some chance he doesn't, this won't age well. But knowing how right I am and have been when it comes to these sort of things, I'm not going to hold my breath. I can't speak. I'm not a woman. I can only speculate. And I can only say that women who sell out, they don't care about anybody but themselves. They're opportunists. But that's a topic for a different time. And I think a woman is far more qualified to talk about that than me. It's unfortunate that this is the world that we live in. I'm not afraid of people like Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm afraid of fascism getting stronger because of people like Rittenhouse and legitimizing fascism more and more and more and more and more. That's what I'm afraid of. And if you're not afraid of people like Kyle Rittenhouse, you're a fool. If you're not afraid of what this verdict will do, you're a fool. To not be afraid of the verdict or not to prepare yourself mentally for the outcome, the inevitable outcome of him getting away with it, you are a fool. You are a fool. Take what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse, and we need to learn from it. Don't approach someone like Rittenhouse unless you're armed. And I don't care if this comes off as ultra leftist, because this isn't about ultra left. This is about self-defense. You can't gain any power without the barrel of a gun. The fascists understand this. It's time that the communists catch up. None of this reformist bullshit that Caleb Maupin is pushing. None of this, oh, we have to do things by the law, like fucking Haas, he may not be a Fed, but he acts like a Fed, is saying. None of this American patriotism, anti-workers shit. None of it. What we need to do is defend ourselves by any means necessary. None of this pacifistic bullshit. If you don't want to end up in a mass grave, it's time to fucking drop this pacifistic garbage. It doesn't serve anything but the bourgeoisie. Deaf to fascism. And deaf to imperialism. Long live the People's Revolution.